This beat turned out magical. What's up and welcome back to Gabe Miller Music. Today I'm flipping some samples to make a pretty magical beat from scratch on the MPC One. I went into it with not a ton of a plan and ended up coming out on the other side with something that I think turned out really cool. So let's jump to about an hour ago when I actually started this process. So I've got a bunch of loops to work with that I got off of Splice. I'm essentially going to treat these like they're stuff I found digging through actual records, but of course, they're already guaranteed, cleared, royalty-free, but I'm going to chop them up rather than just use them as is. So I've got a bunch of stuff to play with. So that might come in handy later. So this is very much like Skyrim background ambience, which is kind of the vibe I've been feeling lately. And I want to send all of these to a mute group so they cut each other off. So I'm going to just choose a different spot for this. There's some potential there. There's a little pop there. We'll deal with that with this envelope. We are already getting somewhere. Set this to a nice even 89 BPM. And let's just set this to 4 bars and just record something. So it's not quite working yet. We've got some work to do. Let me put in a bit more of a consistent hi-hat. This is kind of the vibe I'm thinking, or we go Vapor Trap again for the billionth time. These are, by the way, samples from my $5 sample pack that I just added. If you already have my $5 sample pack, you already have these sounds. And if you don't, you can just get them as part of the bundle. Like the price doesn't go up, nothing like that. So that hits a little bit late, that second note. So we're fine tuning. So we're just gonna zoom this way in. Interesting, we've nailed that first part and now that second part's not really working for me. See, I want that little... I think there's a lick to be had in there in this kind of unquantized little doot-doot. Ooh. We got it. So what if we do... And then we want to bring in a note repeat. Kind of feel like this kick needs to be a little lower, maybe. So let's get some percussion up in here. I kind of like the idea of having this just be held down. I feel like this clap right here is a strong contender for some strong, gigantic reverb. I like big reverbs and I cannot lie. That sounds kind of like ass, actually. Oh, Wakai. Why can't you have good reverbs? I guess it's fine. It's kind of mid. So we're going to move these around in a bit. So let's hop into the grid because I want these to hit just a tad early because they've got these lovely little flam elements. So let me just select everything on this, turn don't snap on, and just scoot that back a little bit. See, that is satisfying. That's satisfying as hell. And actually, while I'm thinking about it, I'll just turn snap back on. And then I think you just need a bit of high pass. Whoopsies. Okay, it doesn't like that. That's fine. That's kind of magical. And in fact, what if we just... Whoopsies. Step sequence that in. And then just bury that in the mix because it's a little bit too Christmassy. But it is nice. It adds some texture. So now I kind of got to make sure that hits right. Very close. I need that to be right in the pocket. All right. Just this weird little perk sound. Ooh, we found it. Turn this way down, and then I think a spring reverb on this might be kind of dope. So do we have any presets on this? That's fine. We're really getting somewhere here. This actually freaking slaps. For my next trick, I shall send the kick to the ducker input, to be clear. Select this track, and at the very end, put the mother ducker on there, and then let's dial that in. Okay, I actually really like that as a really overly intense sidechain. But I gotta balance it a bit. What else can we add? Probably the Gabe Miller classic of a little bit of reverb. A little bit of vintage effects. Do I put the SP on it? Yeah, I think I do. Here's without. Here's without both. We'll let the low end stay as is. I might try to add an 808, but like we're already pretty close with this beat. Let me just put a limiter. Let's do the whole limiter so we're not clipping into the plugins trick, and then put an MPC 3000 on this whole mix. That's my brilliant plan. Can we keep layering? Do we have more of this in us? I think we might. I think we maybe can. Pro tip. Make sure your vocal samples and normal sample are in the same key. So wait, do we maybe just bury this in the mix and call it a day? We're really getting somewhere with this, and now I got to figure out how to follow it up, because I'd love to layer like one more thing, like get one more track going, but I don't know what that's going to entail. Key group? Okay, so what key is this sample in? Because I should be actually... My foot is falling asleep. Ow. You know what? I'm going to drown that and reverb. It's too identifiable. Crank the room size. Too long. I think we need to roll off the high end. There we go. Okay. Keeping the same track, I'm going to look for more sounds.
Flying high, lonely star in the sky. Lonely star in the sky.
That's perfect. Holy hell, that's perfect.
Lonely star in the sky.
I think I need to stretch it a little bit, so warp.
Lonely star in the sky. Lonely star in the sky.
So So then we shift that a little bit.
Lonely star in the sky.
We shift that a little bit forward so it kind of rides over the top of the beat.
Lonely star in the sky.
And so it's super dry right now. Big ol' reverb for this. How do we want to do this?
Lonely star in the sky. Lonely star in the sky.
And then a bit of EQ, I think.
Lonely star in the sky.
That really elevates this whole thing, doesn't it?
Highlighting. Lonely star in the sky. Lighting the dark.
That's a little bit too Carol of the Bells, but it actually works great. Now what do I do?
Lonely star in the sky.
I have to.
Lighting the dark.
It's too perfect. It's like it was made for this. So maybe we process this one similarly, but make some changes.
Lighting the dark.
That's kind of fun.
Lighting the dark.
I want to stretch this just a tad before we get any
Lighting the dark.
artifacting, because I also want to have this
Lighting the dark.
kick in ever so slightly early.
Lonely star in the sky. Lighting the dark.
We've got something here. We've got some actual like bona fide magic here. Okay, so what was I going to do originally? I was going to check to see freaking what key this sample's in. It's in F, because I'm gonna put this in F natural minor. Sure, let's just start with that. And we're gonna load in a sound. Piercingly loud. So then we need to figure out a way to make the sound a little more washed out. Ooh. Okay, that delay is really working for me. Okay, let's be a little bit restrained. And then just cut any mud that we've introduced by drenching this in reverb. I actually feel like that vocal could come up a bit. So that light in the dark can be a little quieter, I think. That's a little more kind of spaced out. It's a little call and response. So that's the beat making process. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you'd like to see more magical MPC One beat making, check out this video on my second channel where I remix Skyrim music into a surprisingly chill lo-fi beat. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll be back with a new video in a little bit. Do I mess with the pitch? I feel like I'm starting to play with fire a little bit, but let's just try it and just see if this sounds good.